The thunderclap ripped through the sky like a judgment from above. And in that split second, the heavens unleashed a torrent that turned our lazy afternoon at Willow Lake into chaos. I was Wyatt Harlan, 18 and invincible, so I thought, laughing with my best friend Jake as we wrestled over the last cold beer. Our bare feet slapping against the sun-warmed dock until the rain hit like icy needles, drenching us to the bone in seconds. But it wasn't the storm that stole my breath. It was the way Jake's dad, Marcus, emerged from the cabin shadows. His voice a low rumble cutting through the downpour. "Come dry off," he said, eyes locking on mine with a gaze so raw, so electric. It felt like he'd stripped me bare without a touch. That look, it lingered like smoke after a fire, haunting the edges of my vision as we scrambled up the muddy path to the cabin. Jake was oblivious, shaking water from his hair like a golden retriever, chattering about how we'd beat the forecast and salvage the barbecue. Me, I was unraveling inside, my heart pounding, not stormy as the lake itself. Marcus Kane was the kind of man who commanded space without trying. 45. Built like he still chopped his own wood, with laugh lines etched deep from years of raising Jake solo after his mom bailed. I'd known him forever, summers at the lake house in upstate New York, him grilling burgers while Jake and I cannonballed off the dock. But today, soaked and shivering, I saw him differently. Hungry. Seen. We burst through the cabin door, the scent of pine and old leather hitting me like a memory I didn't know I had. Jake bolted for the bathroom, yelling about hot showers, leaving me alone with Marcus in the dim living room, rain lashing the windows like it wanted in on the secret. "Here," he said, tossing me a towel from the stack on the couch, his fingers brushing mine just long enough to spark something forbidden. I caught it, wrapping it around my shoulders, but my eyes flicked up to his God. That look again, holding me in place, a silent question hanging between us like the steam rising from my skin. "Wyatt," he murmured, voice gravelly, stepping closer than a father figure should. The air thickened, charged with the storm outside and the one brewing in my chest. I'd spent years burying the confusion, the stolen glances at locker room teammates, the ache that no girl at school could touch. But Marcus, he was the unraveling of every careful knot I'd tied. "You okay, kid?" The word kid landed like a challenge, his hand lingering on my arm, thumb tracing a droplet's path down my bicep. I nodded, throat tight, because saying no would mean admitting I was drowning in more than rain. The afternoon blurred into a haze of forced normalcy. Jake emerged in dry sweats, cranking up the old radio to drown out the thunder, and we huddled around the stone fireplace Marcus lit with practiced ease. Stories flowed, Jake recounting our high school pranks, me chiming in with half-hearted laughs while stealing glances at his dad across the flames. Marcus leaned back in his armchair, flannel unbuttoned just enough to reveal the dark hair curling at his collarbone, a beer in hand, watching me with that same intensity that made my pulse stutter. It was subtle, the way his knee brushed mine when he shifted, or how he'd pause mid-sentence, eyes darkening as if reading the flush creeping up my neck. By dusk, the storm had eased to a drizzle, but the real tempest was inside me. Jake crashed early, jet-lagged from soccer camp, snoring on the pull-out couch like the world was fine. I slipped out to the porch, craving air that didn't smell like him, like us. The lake mirrored the bruised sky, whispering secrets in the lap of waves against the shore. Footsteps creaked behind me, and there he was, Marcus, 2 mugs of cocoa in hand, steam curling like unspoken words. "Can't sleep?" he asked, settling beside me on the swing, our thighs inches apart. The warmth of the mug seeped into my palms, but it was nothing compared to the heat radiating from him. I shook my head, words failing as memories flooded, the summer I was 15, catching him shirtless by the grill, muscles flexing under tanned skin, and the confusing twist in my gut I'd chalked up to envy. Now, at 18, fresh out of high school and adrift in small-town New York, that twist had a name. Desire. We talked he did. Mostly. About Jake's college dreams. The garage he ran in Syracuse. The loneliness of single fatherhood. His voice wove through the night. Low and confessional. Pulling at threads I didn't know were loose. You remind me of myself at your age, he said finally, gaze fixed on the horizon. Lost, but full of fire. My breath hitched. When I turned, his eyes were on me. Not the lake soft. Searching. With an edge that promised more. What if the fire's for something Samiania shouldn't want? The words tumbled out. Reckless. My voice barely above the crickets. He didn't flinch. Instead, his hand found my knee. Steady and sure. Sending a jolt straight to my core. Then you let it burn. Wyatt. Or it consumes you. The swing creaked as he leaned in. The space between us vanishing. His breath warm against my temple. I froze. Every nerve alight. The world narrowing to the press of his palm. The scent of rain and sandalwood. Our lips met in a brush tentative. Electric tasting of cocoa and regret and the sweetest release. It was over in a heartbeat. But it rewired me, leaving me gasping as he pulled back. Eyes fierce with his own storm. Go inside, he whispered, voice rough. Before we regret this. I stumbled to my room, heart hammering, the kiss replaying like a fever dream. Sleep came in fits, haunted by what-ifs, Jake finding out, the town whispering, the chasm of years between us. But beneath the fear, a spark glowed human, messy, alive. Morning broke clear and mocking. Birdsong mocking the turmoil in my chest. Jake was up, frying eggs, clueless as ever. Marcus moved through the kitchen like nothing had shifted, pouring coffee with steady hands. But when our eyes met over the rim of my mug, that look returned deeper now, laced with promise and peril. The day unfolded in agonizing normalcy, fishing off the dock. Jake's laughter echoing as he reeled in a bass. Me fumbling lines because my mind was elsewhere, tangled in last night's ghost. Marcus coached from the shore, his voice a lifeline and a torment. Every nice cast. Wyatt landing like foreplay. By afternoon, the heat pressed heavy, and Jake suggested a swim to cool off. Last one in's a rotten egg, he hollered, diving in with a splash that sprayed us all. I hesitated, towel clutched tight, hyper-aware of Marcus watching from the grass, arms crossed over his chest. The water called. Cool temptation. But stripping down felt like exposure. Screw it, I dropped the towel, peeled off my shirt, and cannonballed in, surfacing to Jake's whoops. Underwater. It was freedom, weightless. The lake cradling secrets. But when I broke the surface, Marcus was in the shallows, wading in up to his calves. Jeans rolled. Shirt discarded. God. He was beautiful, scarred from life. Strong in ways youth couldn't touch. We played it cool, splashing Jake until he tired and floated on his back. Eyes closed against the sun. Then it was just us, treading water 20 feet out. The depth dropping sudden and deep. About last night, he started, voice low under the lap of waves. I swallowed, nodding, the current tugging at my legs like doubt. It can't happen again. Not with Jake here. Not like this. His words cut, but his eyes lied, they burned with the same want clawing at me. Why? I challenged, swimming closer, reckless in the water's embrace. Because I'm too young. Because you're his dad. The questions hung, sharp as hooks. He reached out, fingers grazing my wrist under the surface, hidden from shore. Because it's wrong, he said, but his grip tightened. pulling me in until our chests nearly touched, breaths mingling hot and fast. And because it feels so damn right. The kiss that followed was fiercer, water churning around us as his mouth claimed mine, salt and lake mingling on our tongues. His hand slid to my waist, anchoring me against him, the hardness of his body igniting mine. Time fractured seconds or hours. I couldn't tell until Jake's distant yell snapped us apart. We surfaced gasping, laughing it off as roughhousing when he paddled over. But the secret pulsed between us like a shared heartbeat. That night, with Jake out cold from the day's sun, I couldn't stay away. The cabin creaked under moonlight filtering through pines, shadows dancing like accomplices. I found Marcus on the back porch, nursing a whiskey, the glass glinting like his eyes when I stepped into view. Wyatt, he breathed, setting it down, standing to meet me halfway. No words this time, just hands, urgent and mapping, pulling shirts over heads, skin meeting skin in the cool air. He was gentle at first, reverent, tracing the lines of my body like a man starved for grace. "You're beautiful," he murmured against my collarbone, lips trailing fire down my chest. I arched into him, hands fisting his hair, the world reducing to sensation, the scrape of stubble, the press of his thigh between mine, the low groan he let out when I touched him back, tentative then bold. We moved to his room, door locked against the night, the bed a tangle of sheets and whispered confessions. "Tell me to stop," he said, hovering above me, eyes searching mine in the dim lamplight. But I pulled him down, legs wrapping around his waist, because stopping would mean erasing the only truth I'd ever felt. He moved with a rhythm born of experience, slow and deep, drawing gasps from me that echoed my soul's unraveling. It was pain and pleasure intertwined, vulnerability laid bare. Each thrust a promise. I see you. I want you. We are enough. Dawn crept in too soon, finding us spent and entwined, his arm heavy across my chest. Reality crashed back, Jake's footsteps in the hall, the coffee brewing, the life waiting outside this stolen bubble. We dressed in silence, the air thick with what we'd done, what it meant. "This changes everything," I whispered, buttoning my shirt with shaking hands. Marcus cupped my face, thumb brushing my lip, that look etching deeper. Or nothing, if we let it. But change it did. Breakfast was torture. Jake's easy grin a knife twist as Marcus passed the bacon, our knees brushing under the table like a code. The drive back to Syracuse was endless, Jake blasting music while I stared out at passing fields, replaying every touch, every sigh. Marcus dropped us at my mom's place first. A quick hug for Jake, then for Mellingering, his hand on my back a brand. "See you around, Wyatt," he said, voice steady. I sang stay. Weeks blurred into a fever of absence. School loomed, community college in the fall. A job at the local garage to kill time, but my mind was lake-bound, replaying Marcus in loops that left me aching at night. Texts from Jake pulled me back, parties, girls he swore were perfect for me. I played along, dating Emily from chem class once. Her soft kisses polite but empty, my body betraying me with thoughts of calloused hands and blue eyes. Then Jake invited me to a bonfire at the lake house for Labor Day. Dad's grilling. It'll be epic. My stomach flipped yes and no, screaming in equal measure. I went, heart in my throat, the crunch of gravel under tires echoing my nerves. The fire crackled high, friends from high school laughing around it, beers flowing. Marcus worked the grill, apron tied low on his hips, flashing that easy smile to everyone but me. Our eyes met across the flames, a spark jumping the gap, and I knew this wasn't over. Later, as stars wheeled overhead, Jake passed out in a lawn chair, the party thinning. I wandered to the dock, feet dangling in the cool water, when his shadow fell long beside me. Couldn't stay away. Marcus sat. Close enough our shoulders touched. The heat of him a drug. I leaned in. Defiant. Neither could you. What followed was reckless abandon, his mouth on mine under the moon. Hands roaming free. The dock creaking under our weight as we lost ourselves again. But midway, headlights pierced the dark Jake's truck, rumbling back early from a store run. Panic surged. We scrambled apart. Clothes askew. Hearts racing. Go? Marcus hissed, shoving me toward the trees. I bolted, circling back through the woods, slipping into the crowd like nothing happened. Pulse thundering. Jake pulled up, waving six-packs, none the wiser. But as the night wore on, doubt crept in. Marcus kept distance, his laughs forced, eyes avoiding mine. By morning, he was gone work emergency. Jake said, disappointment mirroring my own hollow ache. The drive home was silent agony. Jake filling it with plans for college, oblivious to the fracture in my world. Fall hit like a cold front, leaves turning crimson as my life splintered. Classes started lit, an auto shop. Ironic mirrors of my turmoil. Jake dove into freshman orientation at SUNY. Call sporadic. Me. I buried in work at the garage. Grease under nails a distraction from the ghost in my veins. Dreams woke me sweating, Marcus's weight. His whispers. The terror of exposure. Was it love or lust? Shame or salvation? The questions gnawed. Unanswered. Then, late October, a text from an unknown number, missed the lake. And my hands shook replying. A simple always. We met in Secreta dingy motel off I-90. The kind with neon flickering vacancy like a warning. He was there first, pacing the threadbare carpet, turning when the door clicked. This is madness, he said, but crossed the room in 3 strides, crushing me against the wall. Kiss desperate and devouring. That night stretched endless, bodies entwined on sagging sheets. Confessions spilling like wine. He spoke of his own youth closeted in the 90s. A failed marriage to hide it. Jake the unintended anchor. I never meant to want you, he admitted, fingers tracing my spine. But God, Wyatt, you make me feel alive. I poured out mine, the bullying whispers in high school. The fear of being the gay kid in a town that still flew Confederate flags at tailgates. In his arms, I was whole flawed. Human. Loved. We carved out stolen hours, drives to forgotten overlooks, where fog veiled our urgency. His garage after hours. Tools clattering to the floor as we claimed counter space. Each time, the risk mounted Jake's offhand. Dad seems happier lately. Slicing close. Holiday season loomed. Family dinner's a minefield. Mom noticed my distance. Her worry soft over turkey. You okay? Honey. That glow, it's like you're in love. I choked on pie, mumbling about school. The lie bitter. Christmas Eve. Jake hosted a small thing at the apartment he shared with roommates eggnog and bad carols. Marcus showed late, bearing gifts. His hug for me chaste but electric. Under the mistletoe, Jake hung as a joke. Our eyes locked. The pull magnetic. Later, in the kitchen, alone for a breath, he pressed me against the fridge. Whisper fierce, I can't do half measures anymore. Be mine. Wyatt. All in. The words ignited everything. We planned runaway weekend to the city. A taste of freedom. New Year's in Manhattan. Times Square crush a blur. But his hand in mine under the ball drop. Magic. Hotel room overlooking the Hudson. We rang in the year slow and sweet. His body a map I knew by heart. Vows murmured against skin, forever. Somehow. But reality's jaws snapped back. January brought Jake's suspiciosa misplaced text on Marcus's phone. glimpsed during a game night. "Who's W?" he asked casually over pizza. But his eyes sharpened. Marcus deflected smooth. But the seed planted. Arguments followed, Jake confronting him about some kid from work. Voices raised behind closed doors when I visited. Guilt clawed me betraying my best friend. Unraveling a family. February storm hit, literal and figurative. Blizzard trapping us at the lake house. Jake snowed in from a trip. Cabin fever amplified tensions, board games turning snide. Silence is thick. One night, after Jake crashed early from spiked cocoa, Marcus and I fought in whispers by the fire. "We end this," he said. "Face ashen. Before it destroys him." Tears burned. I shoved him. "Raw, you think I can just switch it off? You're my everything." He pulled me close. Kiss breaking like waves on rock. We tumbled to the rug. Firelight gilding sweat-slick skin. Urgency laced with despair. It was our undoing passion's peak. Then crash. Morning brought Jake's discovery, rumpled blankets. The scent of us on the air. He burst in. Face thunderous. Piecing it from the disarray. The way Marcus shielded me. "You." With my dad. Disgust twisted his features. Betrayal raw. "How long? Wyatt. How could you?" The eruption was cataclysmic. Jake stormed out into the snow. Tires spinning on the drive. Gone before we could chase. Marcus collapsed. Head in hands. Sobs shaking his frame, the man who'd been my rock. Crumbling. I held him. Whispering nonsense. But the fracture ran deep. Days blurred, unanswered calls to Jake. Marcus retreating into work. Me adrift in the wreckage. Spring thawed the ground, but not our chill. Jake returned for Easter. Terms cold. Fix it or lose me both. Mediation over coffee awkward. Tear-streaked Marcus owning his part. Me mine. "I love him," I said. Voice steady for the first time. Holding Jake's gaze. "Not to hurt you. To be true." Shock flickered. Then softening, his hug tentative. A bridge mending. Summer circled back to Willow Lake. Tentative reunion. Jake grilled. Wary but present. Marcus and I danced around touches. Rebuilding trust. One evening. Dockside. Stars pricking the sky. Jake raised a beer, to family messy as hell. But ours. Laughter broke. Real and healing. That look from the storm. It evolved not just hunger, but home. Marcus and I navigated slow, therapy for him. Pride flags in my dorm for me. Jake's acceptance a gift hard one. We built something real, lake house weekends with board games. Not secrets. City trips hand in hand. Unashamed. Love. It turned out. Wasn't the spark, but the steady burn. Illuminating the worth in our scars. Years later. At Jake's wedding, ironic toast from the best man. Me, Marcus's eyes find mine across the dance floor. That unforgettable gaze whispering, "We made it." And in the quiet after. Arms around each other on the porch. Lake lapping gentle. I know the truth, soaked that day. Yes, but reborn in the rain. The weight of Jake's absence pressed like the winter snows that followed. Blanketing everything in a hush that amplified every regret. I drove home from the lake house in a daze. Wipers slapping rhythmically against the flurries. Marcus's final words echoing, "Give him time. Give us time." But time felt like a thief. Stealing the warmth we'd kindled. Leaving me chilled in my childhood bedroom. Posters of bands I no longer heard curling at the edges. Mom's concerned glances over breakfast casseroles spoke volumes. But I deflected with tales of classes. The auto shop grind. Anything to skirt the truth gnawing at my core. I'd shattered my best friend's world for a love that might not survive the fallout. February's bites softened into March's tentative greens. Crocuses pushing through frost like stubborn hope. Jake's silence stretched 2 weeks. Then 4 texts unread. Calls to voicemail. I threw myself into routine, welding projects that scarred my hands mirroring my heart. Late nights scrolling queer forums for stories like ours. Rare and ragged. One post stuck, a son forgiving his dad's affair with the neighbor boy. Years later, over beers. It wasn't about the sex. The guy wrote. It was about seeing him happy. Finally, I clung to that, printing it like a talisman, tucked in my wallet beside a faded lake photo. Jake. Marcus. Arms slung casual. Innocence captured before the storm. Marcus reached out sparingly, a voice note mid-march. Voice gravel over engine hum. Holding steady here. Love you. Kid fight the good fight. It played on loop during shifts. His timbre a bomb. Stirring memories of motel sheets and whispered plans. We met once. Risky in a Syracuse coffee shop. Hoods up against prying eyes. He looked worn stubble thicker. Eyes shadowed but when he smiled. Pulling me into a shadowed booth. The world righted. Jake asked about you yesterday. He said. Stirring black coffee. Not angry. Curious. My heart leaped. But caution tempered it. What did you say? He reached across. Thumb stroking my knuckles hidden by the table. The truth. That you're the best thing that's happened to me. That touch lingered. Fueling a stolen hour in his truck parked behind the shop. Windows fogging with urgent kisses. Hands fumbling zippers in the cramped cab. It was frantic. A reclaiming his mouth hot on my neck. My nails digging crescents into his back as we rocked against leather seats. Release crashing like thunder. Missed this. He gasped. Forehead to mine. Breath sinking. But parting was agony. His taillights fading into dusk. Leaving me hollow. April bloomed cruel. Cherry blossoms mocking my barren days. Jake's thaw came abrupt, a text at dawn. Coffee. Neutral ground. My palms sweated driving to the diner on Route 5. Neon, open, sign a beacon. He slid into the booth opposite. Leaner somehow. Eyes wary but not cold. Missed you. Asshole. He said. No preamble. Sliding a menu over. Laughter bubbled. Tentative. Breaking the ice. We ordered stacks of pancakes. Syrup sticky as confessions. I get it. He said finally. Forking a bite. Dad's been a ghost since Mom left. You brought him back. Guilt twisted. But his hand on my arm stated. Just don't lie to me again. We're brothers. WY. Always. Relief flooded. Tears pricking as we hugged in the lot. The sun warming what snow hadn't killed. That bridge rebuilt, let light in. Group hangs resuming. Jake ribbing me about crushes, careful deflections. Even a double date setup he abandoned when I confessed Emily was a beard. Figured. He grinned. But hey. Dad's single weight. Shit. We dissolved in hysterics. The taboo fracturing into something survivable. With Jake's green light. Marcus and I ventured bolder. May weekend at the lake. Jake there too. Deliberate buffer. But by nightfall, he crashed early, winking as he passed the hall. Marcus's door ajar. Invitation silent. I slipped in. Heart soaring. Finding him bare under sheets. Arms open. Lovemaking that night was unhurried. Exploratory as tongue tracing constellations on my skin. My body arching to learn his rhythms anew. Proud of you. He murmured post-climax. Fingers combing my damp hair. Standing up. To him. To us. Sleep came deep. Cocooned in his strength. Dreams of futures unshadowed. Summer swelled. Heat waves mirroring the fire rekindled. Jake's internship in Albany pulled him away weekends, granting us the cabin like a gift. We'd arrive Friday dusk, unpacking coolers of steaks and secrets. Fire pit crackling as stories unfolded. Marcus opened up more, his Navy days. The discharge under Don't Ask. The bottle he'd crawled from after Jake's birth. Thought I'd die alone. He admitted one night. Stars our confessor. I straddled his lap, hands framing his face. Not anymore. We're building this brick by messy brick. Intimacy deepened beyond flesh, lazy mornings cooking omelets. His shoulder under my head during Hitchcock marathons. Debates over engine mods that ended in laughter and laps. But shadows lingered town whispers when we fueled up together. A hand on my thigh too long at the pump. Jake's frat buddies side-eyeing invites. Pride Month hit. Rainbow flags fluttering defiant. And Marcus surprised me. Tickets to NYC's parade. His first. The crush of bodies. Chants thundering. His grip tight through the throng we kissed open under confetti rain. Tears mixing with sweat. A declaration etched in ink. Yet kinks emerged. Jake's wedding buzz started girlfriend Lena from poli-sci. Rings on horizons and his plea, be my best man. WY. But keep it chill around her folks. The ask stung. Our love relegated to footnotes. But we nodded. Practicing toasts in the kitchen. Marcus's pride a quiet anchor. A bigger blow, my mom's casual probe over dinner. Seeing someone special. Lies choked. Truth hovered. But fear of losing her steadiness silenced me. August storm mirrored our first, thunder rumbling as we packed the cabin. Reluctant goodbyes. Jake stayed an extra night. The three of us grilling under eaves. Rain sheeting silver. To family. He toasted. Eyes inclusive. And for a moment, it felt whole. Driving back. Marcus's hand on my thigh. Radio soft with Springsteen Born to Run. But we'd chosen to stay. Fall classes ramped. Me juggling shop shifts and lit seminars on forbidden loves and prose. Essays on Gatsby bled personal. Parallels to our green light across the bay. Marcus's garage boomed. Custom jobs pulling overtime. But he'd slip away for lunch meetups. Sub sandwiches on park benches. Knees knocking under tables. Whispers planning a cabin getaway sans Jake. Just us. He'd say. Eyes alight. Reclaim the roots. Thanksgiving tested. Full table at Mom's. Jake and Lena across. Marcus invited as family friend. Tension hummed small talk skirting edges. My fork scraping plate as Lena's dad eyed us curious. Post pie. Cleanup cover. Marcus cornered me at the sink. Breathe. Love. We're golden. His kiss. Quick and fierce behind the door. Steadied the spin. December twinkled fraud. Holiday lights a facade for inner glow. Jake's engagement party loomed. His nerves mirroring mine when he confided. Lena's cool. But her fam's conservative. Like. Pray the gay away vibes. Irony bit. I clapped his back. We'll navigate. Like always. Marcus and I gifted early a weekend in the Adirondacks. Cabin remote. Snow blanketing pines. Fireplace roars. Cocoa spiked. We made snow angels naked. Laughter echoing. Then tumbled inside for hours tangled. His body my shelter from winds. New Year's echoed last. Syracuse Square. Ball drop amateur, but ours. Jake and Lena there. Cheers blending families tentative. Midnight kiss stolen in alley shadows. Marcus's happy us against my lips. Resolutions unspoken, come out. Fully. To Mom 1st January brunch. Words tumbling over mimosas. I'm gay. Mom. And in love. With Marcus. Shock. Then embrace. Knew you were shining brighter. Proud. Baby. Ripples spread. Jake's full-throated support to Lena's folks. Awkward but affirming. Town murmurs fading to shrugs. Spring wedding planning wove us tighter tux fittings where Marcus adjusted my tie. Eyes promising forever. Ceremony day, sun-dappled park. Jake beaming vows. Me at his side. Voice cracking toast. To love's that surprise. And bend us toward truth. Vows exchanged. Dance floor open. Marcus pulled me close under string lights. Our turn soon, he whispered, nuzzling my ear. Heart full. I nodded yes. To rings. To lake house mornings eternal. To the look that started it all. Now etched in eternity's gaze. But eternity's promise cracked under summer's relentless sun. The kind that baked doubts into the earth like forgotten seeds. Jake's honeymoon glow faded into newlywed bliss. His calls brimming with domestic anecdotes, Lena's cooking triumphs. Their pup's antics while Marcus and I navigated the post-coming-out haze. Mom's acceptance bloomed warm. Brunches evolving to include Marcus. Her teasing about settling down, landing softer each time. Yet beneath the surface, fissures formed, his late nights at the shop bleeding into dawn. My classes demanding essays that pulled me inward. Silences stretching like shadows at dusk. August heat peaked with a call that shattered the idyll, Marcus's dock. Routine check uncovering a shadow on his lung smoker's ghost from Navy days. Biopsy pending. It's nothing, he insisted over diner pie. Fork stabbing crust. But his eyes, those blue anchors, flickered fear. I gripped his hand under the table. Knuckles white. Bullshit. We're in this. Biopsy confirmed early stage. Treatable. But chemo loomed. A specter mocking our hard-won peace. Treatments started September. Fall leaves turning as Marcus weakened, hair thinning. Nausea curling him fetal on bathroom tiles. I skipped classes. Bunking at his place. Broth simmering on stoves while Jake rotated visits. His worry etched deep. Fight it, Dad, he'd say. Voice thick. Masking the boy who'd once idolized Superman strength. Nights. I'd hold Marcus through chills. Whispering lake memories. That first kiss's spark. Dockside passions. Our bodies' defiant dance. For us. I'd murmur. Lips to his temple. Beat this. He rallied uneven good days, wrenching wrenches with me at the shop. Bad ones bedbound. My readings of Whitman pulling him from fog. Leaves of grass. He'd chuckle weakly. Or leaves of us. Intimacy shifted tender, not fire. But embers, gentle strokes. Shared baths where soap suds hid tears. His hand on my heart sinking beats. Vulnerability stripped us raw. Love's core gleaming, not perfection, but perseverance. October's chill deepened resolve. Scans showed shrinkage. Remission whispering possible. Jake threw a kick cancer's ass, bash at the lake house bonfire roaring. Friends toasting resilience. Marcus, hat hiding stubble, raised a ginger ale. To the boy who soaked me in more than rain. Eyes met mine across flames. That look, eternal gratitude. Desire. Unbreakable bond. Jake clapped my back later. You saved him. WY. Saved us. Winter wrapped gentle. Holidays hushed, but holy. Mom's tree glittered. Marcus carving turkey steady-handed. Lena's pious sweet victory. New Year's quiet, just us on the porch. Snow falling soft. Resolutions simple, live fully. Love fiercely. Spring brought clear scans. Confetti burst at the doc's office. Marcus lifting me in a spin that stole breath. Yet growth demanded reckoning. Jake's first anniversary neared. But tensions simmered, Lena's family probing our unconventional setup. Whispers of judgment at barbecues. They're stuck in the Stone Age. Jake vented over beers. But hurt lingered. Marcus and I faced it head-on, couples counseling. Sessions unpacking closet scars. Building bridges from ruins. You're my choice. He affirmed one twilight drive. Hand squeezing mine. Every damn day. Summer circled resolute. Lake weekends with Jake and Lena thawing. Her tentative "you two are cute" over Esmore's a milestone. We planned our own vows small. Lakeside. Pines witnesses. Ceremony dawn, me in linen. Marcus in flannel crisp. Jake officiating with grin. I do. We echoed. Rings sliding simple. Kiss ceiling under rising sun. Life post-vows hummed content. Shop expansions with me apprenticed. Lit degree chasing novels of queer heroes. Challenges ebbed health scares minor. Family phrase mending but joys anchored. Adopting a rescue mutt. Porch swings creaking with stories. Nights where his body still ignited mine. Slower now. Deeper. Years layered like Lake Silt. Jake's kids calling me Uncle Way. Marcus's garage a legacy we co-ran. Gray threading our hairs in mirror symmetry. That unforgettable look. It evolved still electric, but softened by seasons. A gaze saying, we endured. We thrived. In the end. Soaked that day not just in rain, but in grace the humankind. Messy and profound. Binding us beyond forgetting. Thriving wasn't linear. Life's currents twisted. Pulling us under when we least expected. 2 years into marriage. The garage boomed with custom chopper orders. My hands black with oil beside Marcus's. Our laughter echoing off concrete walls as we debated chrome accents. Jake's twins arrived chaotic, joy-tiny fists waving at our visits. Lena's exhaustion met with casseroles from Mom's kitchen. Sundays blurred into family potlucks. Rainbow flags fluttering beside American ones. A quiet defiance in our upstate enclave. But autumn of that year. Cracks spiderweb subtle, Marcus's cough returning. Dismissed as allergies until a checkup unearthed metastasis lungs again. Sneaky bastard. Stage 4. The oncologist said. Voice clinical. World tilting. Marcus gripped the armrest. Knuckles bone white. But turned to me with that look defiant. Loving. Not done yet. He rasped. Later in the truck. My tears soaking his collar. Round 2 of hell, radiation zapping energy. Chemo's poison twisting him gaunt. I juggled shop foreman duties. Adjunct teaching gigs. Nights spooning his fevered form. Humming old radio tunes to chase shadows. Jake stepped up fierce driving carpools so I could sit vigils. His were canes. We fight dirty, masking cracks in his voice. Lena hosted support circles. Her family's old judgments, thawed by crisis. Potlucks, turning therapeutic. Intimacy fractured then fused, days when touch repulsed him. My restraint a love language. Others. Desperate clutches and hospital gowns. His whisper still want you against my palm. We grieved preemptively bucket lists scribbled on napkins. Road trip to the Grand Canyon. Skipped for energy. Instead, backyard stargazing. His head in my lap. Constellations mapping our story. Winter gripped tight. Holidays Husha-twins first Santa wide-eyed. But Marcus fading. Oxygen tank humming carols. Christmas Eve. Fire low. He pulled a box from under tree, matching leather cuffs. Engraved soaked and saved. Our vows. He said, buckling mine with trembling fingers. Tears fell. I fastened his. Kiss salt stung. Always. January stole breaths gradual. Hospice talk loomed. Lake house converted sanctuary. Jake's kids toddled floors. Their giggles light in heavy air. One dawn. Marcus woke lucid. Eyes clear. Take me to the dock. Wheelchair over uneven path. Me pushing. Lake misted silver. We sat silent. Hands clasped. Water lapping memories. Best life. He murmured. Head on my shoulder. You. That afternoon. He slipped away peaceful. My name on lips. Jake and I holding hands across the bed. Grief tsunami, funerals small. Eulogies choked mine recounting that rainy day. The look that birthed us. Jake's arm around me. He loved fierce. Like you taught him. Spring unfurled empty. Shop idled. My day's mechanical wrench turns without his guidance. Bed vast cold. Jake pulled me through. Twins' birthdays distractions. Fishing trips where casts tangled, but talks flowed his fears of legacy. My ache for what-ifs. Mom's hugs sage. Grief's a lake. WY. Deep. But you swim. Summer healed incremental. Lake house sold. Proceeds seeding a scholarship Kane Harlan Queer Youth Fund. Jake's idea. Applications brimming stories like ours. I wrote. Finally memoir fragments of soaked beginnings. Published indie. Readers' letters lifelines. Your love saved me too. Fall brought turning, a widower's group. Awkward coffees yielding sparks nothing like Marcus. But reminders, love recurs. Reshapes. Jake's promotion toast, to dad's lighting you. Eyes met. Brothers forged in fire. Years wove forward, book tours to coasts. Twins calling me Pop. Jake's grays mirroring mine. That dock. Visited yearly. Stone etched here. We began. Gaze inward now. Unforgettable, not just his, but ours enduring. Expansive. The human spark defying storms. Forwards we've tangled anew when the scholarship unearthed a ghost, a kid named Riley. 18 and raw. Eyes haunted like mine once. Applying with essays on hidden crushes in cornfields. We met over coffee, Jake insisting. Dad'd want this, his stuttered thanks cracking my armor. You're why I came out, he said. Voice small. Mentorship bloomed reluctant. Shop shifts teaching torque. Lake drives unpacking closets. Watching him bloom first boyfriend kiss under pine stirred Marcus's echo. Pride mingled with pang. Winter that year dumped record snow. Burying roads, but not resolve. Book 2 brewed. Chapters on loss's alchemy. Readings drawing crowds hungry for hope. Jake's family expanded third on way. Ultrasound pinks blurring blues. Uncle Duty calls. He grinned. But shadowed, Lena's folks warming slow. Old Barb's surfacing at holidays. They're trying. He defended. But I saw the wear. Spring thawed revelations. Riley's crisis family disownment post coming out. Couch surfing our spare room. Nights deep. His sobs through walls pulled me vigilant. Marcus's words resurfacing. Let it burn. We rallied Jake's legal aid. Mom's quilts. My stories as shield. Pride parade. Riley marching arm in arm. Rainbow face, paint streaking tears of triumph. Summer scorched ambitions. Shop pivot to electric conversions. My lead on solar installs. Grease traded for circuits. Dates flickered coffee with a prof. Sparks fizzling gentle and guilt nipped, betraying memory. Therapy unpacked, love honors. Doesn't hoard. Jake's nudge, date. WY. Live. Fall harvested bounty, book launch packed. Riley's college acceptance cheers. Twin school plays where I hammed uncle rolls. Thanksgiving full, Lena's spread. Her dad's toast awkward but earnest to chosen kin. Laughter flowed. Wine warming what time hadn't. December twinkled tentative romance. Alex. Bookstore owner. Curly-haired and quick. Eyes kindling slow. First kiss snow-dusted. Porch lights soft nerves fluttering like first times. But seasoned sweet. No rush. He whispered. Mirroring my pace. New Year's danced hopeful. Square countdown with Jake's crew. Alex's hand warm. Confetti tickling. Resolutions. Embrace layers griefs, thread woven gold. Yet layers peeled raw when Riley's ex turned stalker texts venomous. Shadows at shop doors. Panic surged. Jake's cop buddy patrolled. My nights wired. Climax midnight. Confrontation in lot. Alex shielding. Riley's voice steady. I'm done hiding. Police hauled him. Charges stuck. Healing scar forming. Spring stitched stronger. Riley's therapy triumphs. Alex's integration seamless game nights with Jake. Lake picnics echoing old joys. Book 3 outlined. Mentorship's mirror. Soaked souls lifting others. Summer solidified. Alex's proposal casual over burgers shack up. Yes, tumbling easy. Moving day chaos. Boxes labeled Marcus's tools. Ghosts honored in new walls. Fall framed family. Wedding small. Lakeview. Jake best man. To loves that ripple outward. Vows exchanged. Rings clinking promise. Life's current carried. Twins teens sassing. Riley's grad speech crediting us. Alex's bookstore expansions. That unforgettable look. Multiplied in Riley's gaze. Jake's pride. Alex's dawn smiles. Soaked once. Now diving deep, love's lake boundless. Reflections infinite. Boundless proved tested when boundless turned turbulent. Alex's ex. A ghost from city days. Resurfaced with custody claims on a shared pup long rehomed. Dredging old infidelities that cracked our foundation. It was before us. He swore over kitchen wine. But trust's fracture leaked out. Nights cold between sheets. Jake mediated neutral beer on porches. His communications the grease, drawing reluctant laughs but Lena's whisper, don't let fear win. Like Dad almost did.